Hey guys, welcome back. It's Maverick here today with episode 2 of Sonny Boy. So, this episode will finally be blind because, as I said before, I watched a preview of the first episode, and so, last episode wasn't exactly blind. But here I have been waiting for this for over a month now, right? Because the preview was released around mid-June, I believe. So, yeah, we are finally going to be getting into a little bit more of the story and finally see where exactly this story is going to take us, right? At this point in time, there's three different directions I think it can go. Number one, it could still go for a normal, just a supernatural isekai power fantasy, that kind of thing, and then you have all these battles and whatnot between the various students and so on and so forth. But I do think that that is the least plausible out of all the possibilities, right? The second thing that we could be going for is something that touches more on human nature, right? What happens to a bunch of students when they are thrown into this kind of situation where resources are scarce and there's no higher authority, there's no central authority, every guy, every gal for themselves, and the politics of the situations and how bringing out the best and the worst of human nature, right? We could be going towards that path as well. And then finally, which is my personal preferred theory, in that this is actually a sort of a coming of age story, and a lot of what's happening is really just a representation of the various struggles of someone who is just about to graduate high school and is a little bit aimless at this point, right? Not really knowing what to do with his or her life in the future. The uncertainty and doubt that comes back to all of it. And I do think it makes a nice metaphor as well, especially since in the beginning they were sort of like drifting in an unknown place, right? So many unknowns and so on and so forth. So literally all these kinds of possibilities. Let's just get into the episode and see where exactly we're heading. All right, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Alright, we are recording. Oh, I'm probably getting a little bit more introduced to this girl as well. I already read the character introduction for her, so I kind of know what she does, but I want to see how they introduce her. Huh. Okay. So they don't tell us at all how they got here, and how they managed to set up all this. Like, did they swim here or something? Oh. You should be careful about that. If you get infected or something without medical supplies, that's a big oopsie. Oh. Somebody has a... Really? Oh, this did? Kaze something? I believe his ability is actually being able to control gravity or something of that sort. Asakaze. Okay, Asakaze. Alright. Mizuho Sensei. Oh, is this Cat Girl? Yeah, I think this is the other girl, right? Okay, so her power is that she can literally order anything. Hers, right? Her power is that she can literally order anything. That is great. Wow, you still have internet? And power. Hmm? Oh, there's multiple worlds? Huh. Oh, so is that this guy? You know, I still have my suspicions that the reason they are all here in the first place, Isekai in the first place, is all because of that dude, Nagara. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's all you can eat. Alright. Alright. Wait, who was the one who said that? Again? Oh, that's sand, right? Cap, you're... Oh, so he was the former... Wait, I think what happened there was that there were two results, so they faked their results? How do you order a castle? How does that work? Yeah, my first thought would be that it was someone's power, actually. Nope. All the scientific equipment. A Game Boy? This is how gossip and misunderstandings start. I mean, this guy is definitely not being very proactive about the situation. Yeah, rigged. Oh, who are the ones? Oh, Mizuho. That ring there. Okay. So this is a girl with her own sense of justice. I do feel like the anime at this point is deliberately trying to, you know, have this sort of constricting sense. I mean, what is he supposed to do about it? the misunderstood girl, and all that, right? Traded for. Huh. Okay, so there we go. So that's his experiment, right? Yeah, this is definitely the smart guy. So this guy also has the power of creation. Alright. And each world that they go into has different rules in play. And I do wonder, like, what's the entire thing with Hoshi though? Like, what exactly is he? What use is that here, anyways? Oh. Well, that's true though. That is actually true. Right. So Mizuho is basically a type that's just let's go, let's make some action. Stop with the inaction and all that. Yeah, at this point, I'm definitely leaning more towards the coming of age stories. Right. This is clearly, there's clearly a bunch of teenagers who aren't exactly socially adjusted yet. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, clearly there are some good guys and bad guys around here, but at the same time, a lot of things don't really need to happen. Wait, so again, like a bunch of socially awkward people. Wait, that's a QR code. Why is there a QR code? Okay. Open a ledger and manage assets. Is this like a play on cryptocurrency? Right. So does it incrementally release coins to everyone so they're able to purchase things? Is that how it works? Oh my god. Thanks for this little dude, right? Okay. So I guess that won't catch on fire. Does that work though? If you just say, yeah, I give it to you? I don't think that works. Okay, that's her power. She's the navigator, basically. Yeah. Alright. Again. Whew. Well, actually, let's talk more at the end of this. See you guys. Okay, guys, that was episode 2, and, yeah, as I said, it does seem to me that more and more, it's really showing that this is really much more of a coming-of-age kind of story, where we basically go through a lot of adolescence problems, in various situations like this one where, lack of communication, lack of maturity, however you want, social awkwardness, however you want to call it. I guess it's not really it's really not just limited to someone who's a teenager or whatnot, but society does expect us to be able to solve the rest of these problems and become normal functioning adults by the time we exit the education system. So it's there's definitely a lot of things happening here. I mean, clearly we have this. I'm always a little bit hesitant to comment on these kinds of stories because I actually come from a perspective that's a little bit more harsher, I guess you could say, on a lot of things. Like, clearly, let's take Mizuho's situation, for instance. Now, clearly, she's not in the wrong, right? She is clearly right, she's representing justice and so on and so forth. She's just doing what she feels is right, and, she's not going to stand up to other kinds of stuff. But at the same time, she's not really helping her position all that much in the way that she acts, and also, the various other, how can I say this? It's, you feel sympathetic for this character, but you also feel frustrated by it, right? Or at least I do. I always feel like, Mizuho, you're trying to do something nice, but you just keep on feeling frustrated that she doesn't approach the situation in a much more smarter way, and one that's going to let her come out of it unscathed and in a positive light, right? Whereas, by building the situation up to something like this, she allows her enemies or the antagonists or the bad guys, if you will, to have various places and weaknesses that they can exploit and so on and so forth. So, but anyways, some interesting things that came out of this. I do feel that, especially, carrying on from this conversation, we do have this entire social awkwardness in terms of Nagara and Mizuho. And I still believe, by the way, at this point, that Nagara is probably the one who is most responsible for all this. I kind of still have this sneaking suspicion that, this world, and the fact that they are isekai into this another world, and all these various different worlds are coming out and whatnot, they all might center on Nagara and his own problems, or in a sense his own powers, right? In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if his actual power is to be able to form all these other kinds of worlds and so on and so forth. But of course that remains to be seen, right? And Nozomi, at this point, she definitely, well, we reveal her special ability, right, Compass, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory that her ability is basically kind of like the compass from Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Jack Sparrow's compass. Probably it's pointing to what she wants the most, or something of that sort, or maybe it's just pointing to one place, and that is the way out, the way home, right? That's also a possibility here, but definitely I do feel that it's quite apt, considering that Nozomi seems to be the one who is pushing everybody to take action, right? Like, I'm not particularly sure if she is someone who, really cares all about, about morals, or about, really having this overabundance of love and caring, like, in extending to, like, animals and so on and so forth, right? And wanting to rescue all, having such a kind heart or whatnot, that she wants to rescue all these animals and so on and so forth. I'm not quite sure if that is the point they're trying to drive, and in fact, I actually think that the point they're trying to drive here is that she's pushing, her thing, if you will, is that she can't stand somebody who wants to take action, but who clearly wants to take action, but actually hesitates, and she wants to push them, right? So in Nagara's situation, what I'm getting from this, what my interpretation of this is that Nagara clearly felt that he wanted to do something, back in the original world, right? To the bird that was lying there. He wanted to do something, but then he hesitated and dismissed it due to other reasons or concerns or whatnot. Nozomi saw that, and she's basically calling him out, saying, look, you want to do it, so why don't you do it, right? And it's the same thing here as well, and the same thing with Mizuho as well, right? Pushing Mizuho to really take action. You're clearly not the one, and you clearly want to say so, but why don't you say so, right? And I think she is kind of like this kind of driving force towards everything, and indeed, especially for someone like Nagara, I feel like this is probably really, really important, because her being able to drive Nagara forward is probably what's going to allow them to eventually come out of this situation, right? And this aimlessness kind of situation I was talking about at the beginning, the drifting sense. I think they're drifting both physically and metaphorically, right? Drifting as in, they are drifting between worlds and whatnot, and then also in terms of Nagara's consciousness, drifting as in he's aimless himself. He doesn't really have a set place or a set goal or something that he wants to go forward to, right? Or it could be due to lack of knowledge, right? Not really knowing what he wants. It could be due to social awkwardness. He's just hesitant to do something of that sort. Like, maybe he has some own psychological traumas or problems as well, in the past, or so on and so forth. But yeah, in any case, my point here is that they're trying. I do feel like they're trying to more so bend this into a sort of more of an adolescence coming of age teenager kind of situation here, and perhaps the future episodes will follow this along as well, right? But of course, this is only episode 2, so we shall have to see about that. And let's talk a little bit about the, I guess, antagonists that we can see so far, right? Because barring any other monsters or whatnot that might come out, it's probably all of these. Our entire cast is these students, right? And so far, the biggest antagonist does seem to be this Hoshi dude, this Hoshi kid, who apparently is the son of a congressman, right? They call it Dietman, but Diet is basically the Congress of Japan. So, son of a congressman, definitely uses his influence and whatnot, and his father's position to exert influence on the school. And by the way that he speaks and whatnot, he clearly considers himself part of the ruling class, if you will. He's above all the common riffraff, if you will. I am kind of curious why he's deciding to support the girl. I believe her name is Tanaka, but everybody just calls her Pony, so I guess we can just call her Pony. I'm kind of curious why he actually supports her, and I kind of feel like maybe he's just doing this because he feels that that the girl can be easily manipulated, right? He can control things behind the scenes, and that's far better than trying to just step out himself and gain the favor of the students at large, right? Gain the sway the public opinion of himself and whatnot, because in a democracy these things are sort of popular votes, right? Not only does it matter on like what skills and qualifications you have, but in a lot of times it's mostly down to like how well people like you more than anything else. So kind of probably it's that kind of situation. And the girl, well, she clearly lost, right? If we go back to when she was running for student council president, I think there was a very clear clash between what they wanted to do, right? Pony was basically uphold school traditions, not do anything to shame the school. We must focus on our studies and so on and so forth. She's like that kind of girl, right? Whereas the other one was a little bit more of a revolutionary. His slogan was basically let's break down the school, right? Let's destroy the old systems of the school and so on and so forth. And he won by like a landslide, right? So obviously Hoshi does have his hand in this. He probably exerted some influence on the school principal, through his dad or something of that sort. But I also kind of feel that probably, judging from what the teacher was, his words and whatnot, you could say, okay, this is just something that happens in the adult world, right? At the same time, I do feel that it's probably. They probably also kind of went along with it just because they didn't want to deal with, a sort of uprising of the students or rebellion of the students or whatnot, right? Which, I do think that if you take a step back and look at this more from a balanced perspective, and not just from the perspective of, okay, the students, the kids or whatnot, and taking more of an adult approach to it, it's wrong. I can clearly tell you that, right? Because, clearly this goes against the rules. It's corruption, it's cheating, etc., etc., etc. But, there's probably more to it than just simply, we are not, than just simply because it's because she changed the results, so we should condemn her, right? There's various other possibilities in the adult world here that you may or may not like, but honestly you kind of accept this as just a how the world operates, right? Like, I mean, I can bring up many examples, right? For one, like I just said, maybe the school, right? The school administration doesn't really approve of this counterpart, right? The boy who actually won, right? Because he might be doing something too radical and upheave the school or something of that sort. They don't want to deal with these kinds of problems. That's one thing, right? Obviously, because of what we've seen so far, personal coercion and whatnot could also, or bribery could also play into this, like the president, like the school principal was bribed or maybe was threatened, blackmailed or something of that sort. But even more than that, I'm talking about even more subtle kind of things, right? Like such as maybe by agreeing to this, the principal will be able to acquire and secure sufficient funding for the school for it to have an upgrade, right? Like maybe they want a new classroom classroom, or maybe they want like a new arts facility or a new science facility of that sort. And you know, this kind of gets into gray area of the real world as well, and I think that's what that scene was actually trying to imply as well. In terms of that teacher, and also being like, hey, look, you're still a child, you know, there's more complicated things at play here. Don't really, even though I know that you're doing this from the sense of righteousness and justice and whatnot, just chill a little bit, right? Oh, and by the way, I'm pretty sure that Mizuho probably has a crush on that teacher, right? You know, she's not taking too kindly of the teacher being treating her as a child, and I'm guessing what happened later on is that Hoshi did manage to get the teacher fired or whatnot. Obviously, I don't think they got killed or something. We do live in a modern society and whatnot, but probably review. Having a board review this teacher's credentials and finding him, you know, how could he allow such a situation to happen, and then just suspending him from teaching at the school anymore. And heck, if they really want to go one step further, they might even revoke his teacher's license and so on and so forth, which is obviously quite harsh, but you know, that's the point I'm trying to make here. And obviously Mizuho feels that she is responsible for all of this. It's definitely, you know, I feel like it's very easy to look at this situation and look at the events that happen and just, you know, make it into a black and white kind of situation here. But I do hope that, you know, with all these subtleties that that this anime has shown so far, I do hope that they're not going to just turn it into a black and white situation and really bring out more of the gray as well, right? Especially because, you know, if you are going to be having this sort of coming of age story and you want to try and teach people that, okay, the real world, you know, it operates in very complicated matters. Things are not just, you know, you say this and you say that, and it's simple yes, no, or true or false kind of situation here. I mean, I could be entirely wrong, and they could try to go forward towards that more idealistic kind of route, but I don't know. I do feel that the general vibe and feel that's giving me so far definitely doesn't really, you know, go down that route, right? So yeah, anyways, I think that's pretty much all I want to say for now. Oh, and I guess one final last closing thought here is in regards to that, you know, the smart dude, right? I do find it kind of funny that they kind of like basically reference cryptocurrency here by creating that Julio coin, right, which is basically Tiger Dragon coin. I think it's a clear reference to cryptocurrency these days, you know, just creating a coin that intrinsically has value here, and using that to as a sort of fake value, if you will, to do this kind of exchange, and so to circumvent the rule that you have to pay for something and all that sort. I mean, I think it's quite obviously a cryptocurrency reference, especially with, you know, being talking about ledgers and wallets and so on and so forth. But anyways, fun. That's quite fun, and that guy is clearly smart, right? He's the logical guy of this group, and he's trying his best to figure out what exactly is happening in this world. And certainly, it seems that he also has quite the nice ability to go along with it as well, being able to just create things out of thin air, and utilize them in his experiments and whatnot. That is definitely one important dude. And Mizuho's ability certainly is quite useful as well. Being able to just order anything that she wants, man. Alright. So, yeah, I think that's it for now. What do you guys think about this episode so far? What do you guys think about this series and what it's trying to tell or preach, or you know, the moral of the story, if you will? Let me know. So, in any case, thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.